Hey, I'm Dani Johnson, and yesterday I sent a post out of a picture from me inside of my garden. And I talked to you yesterday about, well, planting seed and what happens when you believe after you've planted seed, you end up eventually with some fruit. I just picked these from my garden. This is the very first amount of fruit that's coming from our garden. I want you to understand something with life, and I want you to understand something with success and money. The reality is that whenever you plant a seed and you really believe, then it causes you to go out and follow through with taking action with your belief. That's how it works. You see, when we planted all the seed in this garden, look at this. We've got tomatoes. We have peppers. Look at this big, giant bell pepper that's coming up in here, okay? These all started off as seed, okay? And now here's this bell pepper that, well, it has seeds even within it. But the reality is that when you really believe in what you're doing, you will plant seed, but then you have to water it, and you have to feed it, and you have to protect it. You know, every couple of days, I'm out here pulling weeds out of my garden. Every couple of days, I find things like this. You know, come here. Here's something that doesn't belong in the garden. This is a weed. And what do the weeds represent inside of your life? I don't know, some negative thinking. The weeds in your life could be, you know, things like spending too much time on Facebook. The weeds in your life could be some of the old habits that you had of thinking like a 98%er and not following through on your goal. But these are the kind of things that will eventually suck the food out of the very plants that you're trying to grow. So it's important that when you really believe and you're going to plant those seeds, that you actually follow through with that by taking action. You have to water your garden. You have to feed your garden. We're nourishing this organic garden with organic food to be able to help it to grow. Then eventually when you have fed, you have nurtured, you have protected by taking care of the weeds and taking them out, well, once you do that, you end up with the fruit. I just picked these. Now I'm going to eat them. Yeah. That's some good stuff. Do you want in your life fruit to come up from the ground? It ain't going to happen unless you plant seed. It ain't going to happen unless you water that seed. It ain't going to happen unless you take care of the weeds inside of your garden. And once you do that, I know I'm talking with my mouth full. Once you do that, you end up with the fruit. You have to persist. You have to plant. You have to protect. You have to nurture. So you've got sprouts in your life right now. You're working towards paying off your debt. You're working towards growing your income. You're working towards improving your life. You're working towards improving the relationships with your family and with your coworkers. You're working towards taking advantage of everything we are teaching you how to do. Look for the sprouts. What are the sprouts? That's when you're having things popping up, and it's proof. You see, when these were little tiny sprouts, come here, look. This is where this came from. When this first popped up, it was tiny little weakling of a sprout. Now look. We have this giant plant, come a little closer, that has a bunch of yellow squash. Look at it all. Look at it all. It's all in here. Tons of yellow squash that is in here. Same with the green beans. The green beans started off little seed, little sprout. We protected the sprout, feeding it, celebrating it, giving life to it. And then pretty soon I'm going to have a whole bunch of green beans. I'm super excited about those green beans, by the way. Anyway, so hear me. Look for the sprouts in your life. Celebrate the sprouts. Don't stomp on your sprouts. If I were to go and stomp all over all of my plants here, they would die. Or if I stop watering them, stop feeding them, stop taking taking the weeds that are trying to grow in the garden, if I stop doing that, it wouldn't grow and it wouldn't flourish. So look for the sprouts in the marriage. Look for the improvements that are being made. The sprouts are evidence of what is to come. That's what I love. Sprouts are evidence of what is to come. Look at all this. Jalapenos, peas, pickles, cucumbers, green beans, squash, zucchini, tomatoes, bell peppers. How? Start as a sprout. Nurtured and protect the sprout. Now you wind up with the fruit. Persist, nurture, protect those sprouts in the family, protect the sprouts of what the improvements that you're making on the job, the improvements you're making in your business, the improvements that you're making towards getting out of debt. It's worth it. Keep the distance between those sprouts and those weeds. Keep persisting and doing the right thing, and I promise you're going to get to your goal. God bless you, and I'll talk to you soon.